So we were speaking in the previous episode about timing and how to choose the appropriate timing for a conversation and to create the setting. How about context? How relevant is the appropriate context for having a meaningful conversation?
I personally think that context is very relevant. To It's worthwhile to give it some thoughts to think about where is a good place to have certain conversations and how is the setup of an important conversation. I give you an example. I recently was working with a young man who is applying for a practicum, just like a little workplace, to make some experiences. And he was introduced to an HR person from a consultancy company, and it was introduced to somebody else. And the setting, they had this official interview happening was in a restaurant. And so the context was kind of informal. And also the leading conversation to this interview was also, oh, it's kind of an informal getting to know each other. And then all of a sudden the introduction was, so we like to get to know you a little bit more. Let's officially, the stage is yours kind of a thing. And all of a sudden the restaurant place, which was casual, personal, changed into a stage, which catched him a little bit by surprise. So we had this conversation where I said, next time, if it's an official presentation, it's an official interview for a job, I recommend that it happens in an official setting, that it's in a meeting room, it's going to be one by one. I think the framing, the context really matters. It's also a difference if I'm talking one to one with you, or if I have a sense somebody's listening to what I'm sharing. So I may feel somebody's observing what I'm talking about. That may trigger some insecurities. So I think it really is important to think, what is a context that is fitting to the conversation we're having? Is it a personal conversation where I like to be engaging in some more closeness? Is it an official conversation where I have to officially present myself? Is it helpful when I'm sitting, or am I maybe recently was helping somebody who had to present their master studies. And she thought, oh, I'm going to sit down and present because I feel so nervous. And we said, well, probably you're at the stage, you will be standing and then maybe walking around to engage the audience so that you could present your results, because you really want to have their interest, their curiosity, and their full attention. So it does totally matter for me.
So choosing the right context or the appropriate context is a skill, and it can either enhance the communication or it can impact it in a not very good way in terms of outcomes from what I'm hearing. So having a clear idea on what we would like to have as an outcome out of the conversation can help in choosing also the appropriate context for that, right?
Absolutely. I think there are some guided questions like where is a good context? Where is a good place? How long will this gonna take? Let's say, is it a meeting? Do we have a meeting room where everybody has a place and everybody can listen to each other? And do we have a timing? I would propose, for example, a meeting having a limited time, maybe 20 minutes or maybe 40 minutes, not like an open-ended conversation that has just an open window. That to me is context. Let's say if we have a personal conversation I want to talk to a friend and there's something I really like to clarify. Maybe there was a misunderstanding and I know the family is around. Can I create a context where I say, hey, there's something that's really important that's on my chest? I would really love to have an intimate space so that the two of us can talk about this. Is it a good time for you now? And if so, do we have a little corner where we can just the two of us talk because it helps the intimacy, it helps some container, some safety, so that I can really open up to share what I want to share with my friend and not all the other family members are listening in and being curious about it. I think that's worthwhile to consider. What is in my heart? What do I want to share? And what is the perfect context and the perfect timing, how long that it will really support the purpose of my conversation. And it's worthwhile to take a moment to consider that.
And maybe it would also be an idea to invite the people that are listening to us just to consider one conversation that they maybe have postponed for a while, and just consider thinking about some context and the timing that they would consider having this conversation with someone, either a colleague or a loved one, somebody in their proximity, and taking a little bit of time to create in their mind first that space and that context, and then actually bring it to experience, and afterwards having that conversation. I think that would be an interesting experiment to have, and maybe also share with us the outcome and how was it this experience for them.
Yeah, I love that.